That's not the start. Start again. This is the start. Okay. Intelligent. Enthusiastic. Charismatic. Articulate. Understated. These are just a few words Ste Gleeson can't spell. Illiteracy is just one of the very, very many shortcomings I'm going to cover during today's lecture. And it is a lecture. It's got scientific fact, independent research, so it falls under the umbrella of a lecture. I would like to start by saying good afternoon to everyone, and as been said by everyone, thank you for being here today. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dan, I'm Steve's best man. Having known him and been his best friend for a good 18 years now, I'm absolutely honoured to be chosen to be his best man. I know there were a number of suitable candidates that Steve could have chosen. He's got his close friends from school that I know he's mentioned. He's got numerous workmates that he's made throughout the years. But I think Catherine suggested me because I'm one of the few that actually likes him back. So I played a big part in it, I think. For those of you that do know me, I'm sure you've got certain expectations for this speech. I'm pretty sure you're going to be thinking, Dan's a bit stupid, he's a bit of an idiot, he's the boy that never grew up, he's got a sense of humour that's a little bit immature, he's going to just do anything for a cheap laugh at this speech. And I'll be absolutely honest with everyone in here, I thought about it. I started writing a gimmicky, emotionless speech, but then I thought, no, it's not fair to Steve Catherine. It's absolutely not. We're not doing it. We're doing a serious one. No? I just thought it's too childish. Sorry, I do apologise. That was just a little bit of a breakdown of communication. Let's put that monkey business behind us. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, this is a lecture, and all good lectures include some carefully researched material from various reputable sources. So I asked Dave from down the local if he remembered any Latin from school. Luckily, he did. So I asked him, does the name Ste Gleeson have any Latin origins? Luckily, it does. The name Gleeson means good-looking, intelligent, attractive to women. The name Stephen means not very. So in terms of my relationship with Steve, I can honestly say that I've shared so many things with him, so many memorable experiences. I can't imagine a time that I won't be part of his life, we won't be part of each other's lives. We met at school in 1994. Since then we've shared classrooms together, we've shared workplaces together, we've shared tents at countless festivals together, and shared many, many drunken conversations. So having known Steve over half my life, I think of him as a brother. An odd, unhinged, slightly simple brother, but it's still a brother, so... And the best way I can highlight my relationship throughout the years, I've tried to recall times that we've really been there for each other. A few years ago, sprang to mind straight away, we were playing football in a tournament together. Steve's gone in for a 50-50 ball, and I've heard an almighty crack. Knowing something was wrong, Steve didn't get straight back up. I've rushed to my car, I've pulled it on the pitch, right next to Steve, and I've took him to hospital. I've got him into a wheelchair, I've been at hospital, and waited with him in the A&E department for a good few hours. It was confirmed Steve broke his leg, so I waited until his mum and dad got there. I left that hospital that day knowing I'd done everything for my best friend to help him that day. Now a few years later, during my 27th birthday, we were celebrating on board a beer bus when the table wasn't turned, and it was me that required medical attention after losing consciousness due to a very rare illness I had at the time. It was Jack Daniels addiction, and it is a real illness. It's got medication and doctors and everything. So, witnessing my demise that day, Steve saw me unconscious, and it was at this point he recalled all those years ago when I'd helped him with his broken leg, and much like that song, Two Little Boys by Ralph Harris, Steve's next actions were those of a true best friend. He pointed and laughed while I was strapped to a stretcher. He tried to film me being wheeled into the ambulance. And then he got back on the beer bus and demanded the driver take him to the nearest Wetherspoons. What a guy, honestly. Words don't describe, what a guy. This brings me nicely onto the close friends in Steve's life, and he mentioned earlier the ushers. I want to talk about those ushers a little bit if I could. He's got Matt, Ben and Andy that, like me, were school friends that he's known for a very long time. And he's got Michael and James, Catherine's brothers, who have welcomed him into the family unconditionally. Having known Steve and the others a little bit longer, I wanted to let Michael and James know exactly the kind of brother-in-law they were adopting. So I was thinking about the relationship Steve has got with his friends while I was writing this speech, and some events spring to the front of my mind. I'd like to go through, if I could, the event that stuck in front of my mind for each of those ushers. First of all, with Ben. Steve had the honour of organising Ben's stag do, and on the stag do, Steve dressed Ben up like Daffy, the only guy from the village in Little Britain. He let him get exceptionally drunk in the middle of the afternoon and wander onto the window ledge of a third floor of a Manchester hotel, looking like a camp intoxicated Spider-Man, without any of the balance or superpowers. Then there was Steve's relationship with Matthew. One day at school, Steve thought he would demonstrate his deadly accurate throwing arm. So he launched the bottle through the air, connecting with its intended target, which in this case was Matt's forehead. It did require a few stitches after the laughter had died down, but the good thing is that Matt can laugh about it today, and so can we when they see the scar that's left. And finally, last but not least, Steve's relationship with Andy Biddle, or should I say, the Reverend Andy Biddle, after that church speech today, because that was something else. Steve's relationship with Andy, the tale also ends in medical attention, I'm afraid. This time at Warsaw's Manor Hospital, after the pair confused the streets of Warsaw at 3 AM with the main event at WrestleMania. Steve's failed attempt at a rugby tackle was countered by Andy, and an age-old question was answered. Which is harder, Steve's hair gel or concrete? It's undecided, I don't know. Split decision. It wasn't going to help him this time though, and the NHS had to foot the bill for our friendship once again. So based on these events, I feel I should offer some advice to James and Michael on their new brother-in-law. Don't be fooled by the friendly, positive exterior. Ste Gleeson will throw things at you. He will rugby tackle you when you least expect it. And most worryingly of all, if you want to get drunk and try and jump off a building, he probably won't stop you. It's at this point in the lecture I would like to mention today's beautiful bride, Catherine, who looks stunning today. Now I can't for a second, I'm not going to try and explain how Steve got to say yes, we've not got time for that. In fact, I do have it on good authority that when Steve did get down on bended knee to propose, Catherine actually thought he was just falling over. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it is. I can shed some light on how they first met though. The first meeting was in a venue not dissimilar to the grand surroundings we find ourselves in today. I don't know if anyone knows Yates in Wolverhampton. It's the kind of place where people want the feet on the way out, if those of you don't know. I think Catherine was doing some work researching the social scene in Wolves, and she clearly wanted to speak to some major players on that scene, but they were at a better bar, so she spoke to me instead, I think. It was a real surprise that night that she was able to get anywhere near Steve, considering the gaggle of girls that surrounded him when he was in Yates's, mainly because we made a habit of standing right outside the ladies' toilets, smiling harmlessly. Catherine obviously found something quite likeable about that gormless smile, and that's why we're all here today. Now, I know that some of you might be expecting some amusing tales from the stag do in Bristol today. I can't really go into much detail for legal reasons, because I can't discuss parts of it till after the trial. So, what I can do, though, is share something with you. I can share an email that I received after the weekend from the owner of the 17th century Gothic mansion that we all stayed in. Dear Mr O'Connor, I'm writing to give you some further information on the £300 damages deposit you and your party paid prior to your stay. I'm sure it will come to no surprise that you will not be receiving any of this deposit back. And if it was within my power to do so, I would not hesitate in charging you a further £300 after observing the damages caused by your party. Upon inspection, the full list of damages reads as follows: 3 broken beds, 4 dining chairs, 2 pool cues, 1 kettle, that was already broke, we know that was already broke, 1 kettle, 2 picture frames, and 1 wooden wall panel. This list does not include the cost of the expansive carpet shampooing carried out to remove the stubborn odours left by your group. And 1 pillowcase was stained beyond repair by a substance I could not begin to describe. Thank you again for your booking with us. Please note, we will not welcome any other inquiries from you or members of your party. Best wishes, Misha. Now, stag members in this room, we're all adults. I'm not going to stand here and play the blame game, so the sooner we place all the blame on Ben Dudley, the quicker we can put this behind them. I know some of you have put money in and guessed on the length of the speech. I do apologise about the length. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But trying to summarise a man that has been a thorn in my side for the last 18 years is very, very difficult. It's actually so difficult I couldn't do it alone. So a few months before I was going to write this speech, I texted some of Steve's closest friends. I said, okay, I'm writing the speech now. What do you want me to mention in the speech? When you think of Ste Gleeson, what do you want me to put in there? Now, to protect the innocent and the guilty, I'm not going to name any names, but my phone immediately started to buzz. Straight away, first text, you've got to mention his hair. It's been shocking since year 9 when he had them curtains. Now I thought, however much that's made me laugh, I can't use that. That's not funny. So I thought, well, I'll write that one up, I'll see what the other text says. So the next text came through. He's been to how many festivals and he still can't put more pointless than the last. And I've learned 2 things from that experiment. Firstly, Steve's friends, rare, peculiar bunch of people that you're ever going to meet. Secondly, anyone I've ever spoken to who's got nothing but positive things to say about Steve. They base things on how easygoing he is, his sense of humour, and I just hope that this speech hasn't tested those 2 things to the limit. All the nonsensical stories aside, I would like to say some true and sincere words about Steve before I finish. He really has been like a brother to me, and there's not a ridiculous punchline here. This is the nice bit now. I've highlighted it, nice bit. He's been like a brother to me throughout the years, and has always been there for me no matter what. I could not be more proud and honoured to be standing here today to be part of his and Catherine's special day. Sometimes the best man only really knows the family on the groom's side. On this occasion, I'm lucky enough to know both families well enough to know how perfectly Ste and Catherine fit in together and fit into the families, and they've been made to feel so welcome by each other's family. And there's not a Wolves fan in the bunch as well. It's just the icing on the cake for me. Oh, there was a joke at the end. I lied. Led you all on that arrow. I am genuinely going to end this now. Just before I do end it, there's just a very quick message I've been given from the hotel manager today. He's asked me to request that in the interest of health and safety, can you fight the urge to get on the tables and chairs for the standing ovation for the speech? Because I know you want to do it. I can see your faces. They're going to kick off, they'll only like it. So, for the last and final time, I'm going to end this. Can we be upstanding for one final time? And raise one more glass to toast. May the love be modern enough to survive the times, but old-fashioned enough to last forever. We wish you all, everyone who's in this room, wishes you both a life of love, happiness and laughter. Ste and Catherine.
Ste and Catherine.